She stood in front of the mirror, staring at her reflection, almost as if she were meeting herself for the first time. The person looking back at her seemed distant, as if a thin veil separated her from who she once was. She remembered a time when she moved through life with quiet confidence, a time when she wasn't afraid to voice her opinions or take up space. But life had stripped that from her, layer by layer, leaving her with a quiet but relentless voice of doubt that seemed to whisper, "You're not enough." She raised a hand, touching her reflection as though she could reach through the glass and pull that confident woman back into herself. Her fingers brushed her own face, tracing lines that hadn't been there before, lines formed by years of questioning herself, of shrinking into the background, of choosing silence over expression. She closed her eyes, taking a deep breath, and promised herself that she would find that confidence again, no matter how long it took. So many of us know this feeling, the moment we look in the mirror and wonder what happened to the person we used to be. Life has a way of eroding our confidence, little by little, until one day we realize we no longer recognize ourselves. But confidence isn't something we're born with. It's something we build. Her journey to reclaim herself is one that resonates with anyone who has ever felt diminished, overlooked, or forgotten. This isn't just her story. It's a reminder that confidence is something we all have the power to rebuild. She decided to start with the smallest, seemingly inconsequential steps, knowing that each one was a piece of her journey back to herself. Her first goal was simple: to start each day with a small but powerful act of courage. One morning, she stood in line at a coffee shop, her hands fidgeting as she rehearsed a compliment she wanted to give the barista. She almost didn't do it, the fear of rejection tugging at her, but just as she got her coffee, she smiled and said, "I just wanted to say, I love how you always greet everyone with such warmth. It makes my mornings better." The barista's face lit up, and in that small interaction, she felt a spark, a sense of connection, a validation that her voice mattered. The next day, she pushed herself further. She was in a work meeting, a space where she usually sat quietly, fading into the background. But this time, she had an idea she believed in, and though her heart raced and her palms grew damp, she forced herself to speak up. Her voice shook, but as she spoke, she saw her colleagues listening, nodding, engaging with her ideas. For the first time in a long time, she felt heard, seen. She left the meeting with a new awareness that confidence wasn't about being fearless. It was about being willing to face her fears. Encouraged by these small victories, she began setting more goals. She joined a local art class, despite the self-doubt that told her she wasn't talented enough. At first, she was hesitant, afraid her work wouldn't measure up, but over time, she found herself immersed in the creative process, forgetting her insecurities as she poured herself into her art. She wasn't trying to be the best. She was simply allowing herself to try, to express, to be seen. She kept a journal, documenting each small step, each moment of bravery. She wrote down every time she conquered her fear, no matter how small the action might seem. Spoke up in class today. Introduced myself to someone new. Tried a new restaurant alone. Each entry became a testament to her growth, a tangible reminder of the woman she was rebuilding herself to be. The journal was more than a record. It was a mirror reflecting her strength back at her, a reminder that she was capable of more than she had ever given herself credit for. Slowly, she felt her confidence returning, not as a loud, brash force, but as a steady, quiet assurance. She no longer questioned her worth. She no longer felt the need to apologize for taking up space. She began to trust herself again, to believe that she was worthy of the life she wanted. Each new experience, each act of courage, became a brick in the foundation of her self-worth. She had rediscovered herself, not as the person she used to be, but as someone even stronger, someone forged through her struggles. Rebuilding confidence doesn't happen overnight, and every step, no matter how small, is worth celebrating. What's one small step you've taken to rebuild your confidence? Share it in the comments. Let's encourage and inspire each other to keep growing, to keep finding our voices. Now that you're rebuilding your confidence, it's time to take it even further. Join me in the next video, where we'll explore how to cultivate a resilient mindset that can help us face life's challenges with strength and grace.